Hey guys, Chris Anderson here with Clay Spicklemire. How's it going, Clay?
Hey, it's going good.
Awesome. I'm here again with another card hoarder video. This week, since Kaladesh is coming out for the pre-release this weekend, we don't really have too many relevant formats to discuss. So it's kind of a fun week. So I decided to go with my favorite constructed format, Legacy.
It,
Yeah, this is an idea that you and I've kicked around for a little bit,
yep.
but we haven't really had the time to test it until now. So I'm actually looking forward to this video a lot.
Yeah. Legacy's great. Infect's great.
Yep,
You know?
absolutely. So yeah, basically the thing I noticed, I almost played Infect in Worcester at the last Legacy
Okay.
Open. I noticed that the games that I would had a natural wasteland were a lot easier than
Yeah.
the uh, non-natural wasteland games.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
decided that, and like I thought it kind of made a lot of sense because the deck kind of operates a similar way to a Delver deck.
Yeah.
It
It is basically a Delver deck.
it uses
You,
like
you stick
daisies
a
and
threat,
forces.
disrupt your opponent, and
Right.
instead of playing the removal spells or discard spells or whatever, you just play pump spells.
Yeah, and try to kill them as soon as you possibly can.
Yep.
So what basically Wasteland does in a Delver deck is it slows your opponent down a little bit. And the mana bases in Legacy are very fragile and susceptible to Wasteland. And that's one of the reasons why it's one of the pillars of the format. So we basically are going to lean on Wasteland's disruptive power and capitalize on people and try to kill them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I
In
think
fact,
we don't have
kind
to
of.
give up very much at all in order to do that. So yeah, this is kind of the list that we ended up coming up with as a starting point. So I thought we'd do something different this week. Instead of just like talk about what all the things that we came up with were, I thought it would be cool if Clay and I worked together to build the deck in the intro that we're going to play in the league. So this is our starting point, but it's definitely not going to be our finishing point as far as the intro video. So yeah, let's get started.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first off, I think we definitely want 4 Glycerol, 4 Blighted Agent, 4 Inkmoth Nexuses.
Yep.
Those are very important to the deck. You need 12 creatures is probably a good number to have.
Yep. Yep.
The 4th Infect creature in Legacy is Crop Rotation. It's so I don't really know if we want. One of the things of having a lot of wastelands is that, like, the cuts to be made, I shaved down a little bit on crop rotations in that
Yeah.
particular list.
Yeah, that makes
we
sense.
didn't end up having any.
I
But
think one could still be good with the sideboard if we're playing any sideboard land bullets.
right, I agree. I think that what we might end up wanting to do is only playing 3 wastelands and running a 4th and running 1 crop rotation.
Crop rotation, yeah,
that
makes
gives us
sense.
a 13 land, and we have 4 ways to wasteland someone.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
So we could run like 1 crop rotation in the main and a 2nd in the sideboard and have like
Okay.
land bullets.
Crop rotation is also handy to find like an end step infector or a Pendlehaven if you need a pump spell.
Yep, it's just a really flexible card.
Yeah, you
one
can
of
crop
those-
rotation for a fetch land if you really need delve.
Mhm.
I've done that a couple times.
Or
And
even, you can do that with Wasteland as well.
it's true. It's true.
Like do it in your upkeep so that they can't float. Or actually, even in your draw step, you can crop rotation into Wasteland on your own draw step and then go into your main phase so that they can't float the mana.
Yeah. Yep, that works. And then 8 fetches.
Yeah, we've got 8. Since the only basic land in the deck is 1 of Forest, there aren't any islands, it doesn't really matter what kind of fetch lands you use.
Any green fetch works.
Yeah,
Like
the ones on my account are Windswept Heaths and Wooded Foothills, so let's go ahead and use those. Let's see. And then, yeah, if we're going to be going with the 1 crop rotation, we'll probably want 3 wastelands.
Yep.
And then that gives us, what, 21 lands, which I think even...
21, yep.
Yeah, and you've got, like... So Wasteland and Inkmoth Nexus aren't actually lands. They can't really be considered lands in this deck because they're more like spells than lands.
Right.
However, we do
That's
have...
one of the way Infect gets, like, a... How do you call it? Like, virtual card advantage.
Mhm.
When, like, if the game goes long, you both eventually draw some number of lands, but Infect can leverage their lands much better than other decks and Legacy can.
Right, that makes sense.
And then
Another
we
thing
want
is
the
that the
fourth
Noble
waste
Hierarchs
in
are
the board.
fourth. We could do the 4th waste on the board if you'd like. We'll go ahead and toss it in there for now, just for the sake of argument, and then once we get more focused on what's in the board, we will
Yeah. Because
shave
there's
it
some
if necessary.
matchups where you really want like all the wastelands and all the crop rotations you can possibly get.
Let's see. Oh yeah, and Noble Hierarch is another example of one of your lands that are actually spells. In this case,
Yep.
it's a spell that's actually a land.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's see. We've got the Infectors, we've got the mana. We need 2 more lands in there. You have the Tropical Islands.
Pendlehaven
so, yeah, 1
and
Pendlehaven
a
and a basic forest.
Yep. And then we're definitely playing 4 Invigorates. That's one of the... And, like, 4 Brainstorms, 4 Invigorates are totally no-brainers.
Yep, Invigorate is the best. I think it's the most powerful spell in Legacy pound for pound.
I think Brainstorm could give it a run for its money.
That's fair, but like just the raw explosive power,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
it
it's
does
like
8 damage for 0 mana.
Yeah,
You know,
It's
that's
an-
absurd.
yeah. It's like double Fire Blast, and Fire Blast is one of the best cards in Burn.
Mhm.
So
Brainstorm is certainly a more flexible card in that it is good in everything, and Invigorate is only good in this deck.
right, but like pound for pound, Invigorate is just it just
Brainstorm-
feels unfair every time you get to cast it.
So I guess let me rephrase. Brainstorm is definitely the better card, but I think Invigorate is more powerful.
Yeah, Invigorate is just super explosive.
Yeah. Let's see. So I think 2 Berserks is a good number.
Yes.
Do you think getting away
I
with 1
agree.
Berserk is okay, or really should be 2?
I think it should be 2.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Just about how powerful it is with Invigorator. It plus any other pump spell usually kills them.
Right. It also provides a way, like, your Glistener Elves and your Inkmoth Nexuses can get stonewalled in the air pretty easily. So having some trample to get through is
trample seems
very
really
important.
great.
Especially against, like, Death and Taxes, where they have, like, Flicker Wisps.
Hit color green, maybe that'll make it the list a little better. But yeah, I agree. Berserk is awesome.
And then probably 2 Vines, 2 Probe.
Yeah, 2 Vines feels like the right number. We might be able to get away with 3 Probe. I was thinking either 2 or 3.
Yeah. One thing we need to watch out for is blue card count for Force of Will.
Right.
Because Infect already skates pretty thin.
I think we can probably get away with a 22.
Okay.
And one of the ways you do that is by playing a lot of Ponders.
Yes.
I think Ponder's going to be really good in a deck like this, in the Wasteland version of the deck. Just because it gets you, like, whatever things you end up, what you're missing, basically, Ponder gets you to it. You know, if you've got your Infectors,
I've shied
but
away
you don't
from
have...
Ponder in the past
Mhm.
because it feels kind of clunky in a version of the deck where you want to be operating primarily at instant speed.
Sure.
But when you're playing more Wastelands and we can afford to play more bullets, so Ponder's good.
Yeah, that was my thought process. It also allows you to play the number of blue spells that you need to make Force of Will really effective in a deck like this.
I also really like 4 Dazes in this deck.
Mhm.
I know some people have liked 3 in the past, but 4 has been great for me all the time.
Yeah, especially when you have Wastelands.
Right, yeah. It makes sideboarding a little bit easier because shaving like 1 or 2 Dazes on the draw is usually no-brainer. It also adds blue cards for Force of Will, and it's just always been great.
Let's see.
Some 3 Force of Will, I think, is my.
Yeah, I like
Why?
either. I think I like either 4 in the main or a 3-1 split.
I like the 3-1.
Okay.
Infect, like like uses its resources very well, and it's like you can't 2-for-1 yourself that much and still have a shot in
Sure.
the game.
That makes sense.
So I'm gonna throw 3 probes in now. If we end up cutting one, I can just cut it out, but I don't want to have to search again.
Sounds good.
And vines. I also think we should play the main deck Sylvan Library.
Okay. Do you think it's less necessary if we have a bunch of ponders in our deck, or is that what
they
library
don't fill the
does?
same role.
Okay, I see.
Like,
It's more of a
so
card
the library
advantage
just,
rather
like,
than
Against all the grindy decks, it just wins the game when it comes down.
okay.
Miracles can't ever beat it. Shardless, besides Abrupt Gate, can't ever beat it.
Cool.
It's just always like Sylvan Library just lets you grind them out. Ponder is just an efficient cantrip. They're
Right.
not the same kind of deal.
That makes sense to me.
Library has
Yeah, the
been-
thing that makes library good is its ability to draw you 3 cards at once.
yeah.
Not the selection so much.
Yeah, we also probably lose some percentage points against Miracles, where Wasteland isn't as good, and playing a library is a great way to bring that one back up.
Okay, how do you like a second library in the sideboard?
I've played it in the past. I think it would probably be fine.
Okay, let's go ahead and toss one in there for now.
Okay. I'm back and forth between 1 and 2, depending on how I'm feeling that weekend, what I
Sure.
think the field's going to be like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need some ponders.
Yeah. Do you think 3 ponder?
We can toss 3 in there. If we end up needing to cut one, that's fine.
Okay.
And then let's put like 1 or 2 become immenses also.
Yeah. Probably 1.
Probably just 1.
We have the
yeah.
2 berserks already.
Yep. Yeah. I've played 2 in the non-wasteland version, but I think 1 with so much other stuff going on, it will probably be.
Mm-hmm. It's a chance that it might be the kind of deck where we want to lean harder on Become Immense, actually. Like, it might be worth building like lots of Wastelands and lots of Become Immense. Because Wasteland helps you get to Become Immense faster. So one possibility that we could do for Become Immense is we could rely more heavily on it because we've got more Wastelands. Because Wasteland fills Become Immense up farther.
Sure, I think with adding the ponders that we'll be able to find our pump spells more reliably, so we don't need to play so many dead cards.
Sure,
One of the
yeah.
big draws of Infect over the modern version is that because of your like card selection, you don't have to play the clunkers like Might of Voltrosa. So like we only having to play like 7 dedicated pump spells is, I think it's a good thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They're really only good at doing one thing and are completely dead at any other point.
Right, we have so much interaction and like versatile cards here that we don't need to play so many linear, only do one thing well type of cards.
Makes a lot of sense.
And then we need some Force of Wills.
Right.
We can start out with the 3-1 split.
Okay, and then that puts us to 61 cards, so it looks like we'll have
Yep.
to make 1 cut. I guess it would be either the probe or a ponder.
Yeah. I think it's probably the probe.
Okay. Right.
Probe's fine, but I've been cutting to 2 in the past, and I also for the video's sake, I think it would be better to see how the ponders are because they're the less stock.
Less known quantity. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We know how good the probes are. I would like to have more experience learning about the ponders.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good.
It looks good.
Other things that we could do with it is Spell Pierce. I don't think it's as good as what we've got here, though.
Yeah. We could play 2 Spell Pierce or a Spell Pierce and a Flusterstorm or something. But I think
those
think
are
this is
basically
fine.
what the ponders are doing, I think.
yeah.
That's where that slot is.
Yep.
All right, looks good.
Looks good.
Okay, so let's move on to the sideboard. So one card that I really love in this deck, in the deck sideboard, is Submerge.
Okay.
Submerge is basically 0 mana stuff is great in Infect,
Yeah.
basically.
I also love me some Flusterstorms.
Sure. Seems like a great answer to counterspell decks. I think
Yep.
as a main deck card, I think Spell Pierce is slightly better, but as a sideboard card, I think Flusterstorm is much, much better.
Yep. Yeah. Where you want the 1 mana Soft Disruption, Flusterstorm's much better card. It's just the Spell Pierce is a more versatile, it hits basically every deck, whereas Flusterstorm can be blank against Eldrazi or something like that.
Right.
Spell Pierce still hits Chalice.
Let's see.
And then we probably want some bullets for Crop Rot. So
Okay.
Bog, maybe Caracas.
A Caracas might be good. What do you think of Tower of the Magistrate?
I think that one's going a little bit too deep.
Too deep? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can
it,
try it.
basically, my thought process is like Jitte decks.
For the
Jitte seems
Jitte decks,
really,
I prefer
really
to
good
play
against.
like just Crossing Grips and Viridian Corruptors.
Okay.
I don't know. Tower of the Magistrate just seems. I mean,
Like
it's
we don't really
great.
care about Batterskull.
Right,
Because
and it
2/3 of our creatures can
yeah.
get through it anyway. And
I mean, it this doesn't
life
even
means nothing.
get through Batterskull. This because the germ is black.
That doesn't matter. You give the germ protection from artifacts, and the Batterskull falls off.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That basically, yeah, you give the creature protection from artifacts that is equipping to the Jitte.
Right,
Jitte is what we care about. That way, they can never really get Jitte online, and it's uncounterable. I guess crop rotation can get it.
Yeah, crop rotation can get it. I mean, we can try it.
Okay.
I think I like Viridian Corruptor better because that hits Chalice and some other things. But
sure,
we can put it in there. So how it goes.
I agree. I think we want one artifact removal spell in general also. Tower doesn't really cut it, because it's really only good against one, albeit very good artifact. It's only good against one artifact.
Yeah. And the Jid matchups are already, despite how good Jid is against us, our matchups against the rest of the deck, they're generally like fair white decks.
Right, they don't have too many cards that interact with us.
Yeah. Jid's like the only card of the matchup that we care about.
Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and leave the tower out then. Caracas sounds good. Yeah, that prevents like broken decks like Reanimator.
You don't need the Caracas. I might cut it, but it's
it's like playing 1.6 copies of Caracas by having it plus 2 crop rotations.
Yeah. Yep, that's why the Bowl lands are so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really like one Corruptor. It's another Infector. It's good against it. Like hits Chalice, Jit, Aether Vial. There are a bunch of relevant artifacts you can hit with.
And it leaves behind a threat, which is great.
Yep.
As opposed to like Crossing Grip.
Yeah. Also for the matchups where you want to be threat dense, it's just another Infector you can get.
Mm-hmm.
I think I accidentally Submerges should be here.
Do you play 4?
What?
Do we play 4 Submerge?
I think 2 is fine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
There aren't enough like decks where Submerge hits. It hits like Rug Delver, the Infect Mirror. It's not good enough against lands.
Yeah, not really reliable enough against Grixis Delver. They only have 1 forest.
Right, they have 1 forest, yeah. Like Deathrite Shaman is a big problem with the matchup, but they're not fetching the forest that often, and it's like turned off whenever they don't have it.
Right. Let's see. Do we want some more stuff against Grixis Delver? In my experience, that was one of the hardest matchups.
Yeah. I like having 1 Hydroblast.
Sure.
That has double duty because it gets miracles. It hits like Rogue, is it Static Casters or Blue Blasts or, or not Blue
Red Blasts. Yeah. Okay, we can go with the Hydroblast.
Plus, you have a lot of cards that you want to take out against miracles also. Keep.
Let's see.
And then I like playing 1 or 2 Crossing Grips also. It's an out to the countertop block.
Right.
And it also hits Jit, Chalice, all the cards that you really have a tough time with.
Sure. What is important in the Grixis Delver matchup? What can we do to make that better?
I've tried a lot of things, and I think you just really there's not like one catch-all sideboard card that's gonna take it from slightly unfavorable to favorable.
Right.
You basically just have to like
play tight.
Sylvan Library helps a lot.
Okay, that makes sense.
You like Hydroblasting the key lightning bolts is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you just Ponder should help because one of the issues is that they have more consistency because of their cantrips.
Sure. Yeah. More wastelands would probably be good for us as well.
Right.
Because their mana is fragile.
They're pretty greedy with their mana base.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think our deck is naturally built a little bit better in order to handle them. So hopefully that'll help a lot.
Yeah, the main issue with the matchup is that they can make a lot of our deck dead very quickly.
Right.
And we also don't have as much card selection, and so that's the big issue. But if we can fix those, then I think this is fine.
Okay, and then we got one more slot.
I'm a fan of Pithing Needle.
Yeah, I love that card. You don't have to say much to convince me. What it does for the amount of mana that it costs is just
Yeah.
extremely good rate.
It's free. It shuts off so many different problem cards.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, other stuff that we could possibly play. Do you like Surgical Extraction at all?
I really don't like that card
No. Okay.
at all. It's like fine against Reanimator. It's not good enough against Storm. It just doesn't like we don't have the discard spells where we can like turn off the combo decks. So it just doesn't really do a whole lot.
Okay.
Like in Grixis Delver against like Show and Tell, you can therapy Show and Tell, then extract it. But here, the only we just can't. We don't have
that's somewhat narrow, and as it's only one card, like it just isn't going to happen all that often.
Yeah, it just doesn't really do anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, I kind of like where this is right now. Let's see, trying to rack my brain, see if there's anything that I might have missed.
Yeah,
I'm not coming up with anything off the top of my head though. So
yeah, this looks good to me.
All right, so go ahead and hold the list out so that everybody can take a look at it, I guess. Let's go ahead and organize it by card type instead of casting cost.
Okay.
So like pump spells, interaction spells, infect
Vines of the
creatures, lands.
does double duty here.
It does, yeah. I like to put it in the protection spells though, just because it's really hard to. It's really expensive to kick it.
Yes, it is.
Usually you have to commit quite a bit.
So let's see. We have like we have the permission here.
Spells.
We'll have the dudes. I'll just put Inkmoth Nexus in with the dudes because it's a dude.
Noble Hierarch goes with the lands, and Inkmoth Nexus goes with the dudes. Which is kind of weird, but that works.
And then Sylvan Library can go kind of all on its own. It's a pretty unique.
Yeah, crop rotation goes with the dudes, I think, because its primary purpose is as an infect creature usually. Yep.
It gets a wasteland if you need it, but most of the time it's just getting a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Noble Hierarch's land.
All right. Looks good. And then, missing a little bit of the sideboard there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's all good. All right. Looks good. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and take this deck through the league. And, I don't know, I'm excited to see how it turns out. So,
yeah,
we'll see you guys in a bit.